Hello everyone, this is my third time recording this video. The first time the audio was all messed up, and the second time I forgot to press record. So hopefully, third time's the charm. This is a run that doesn't do anything extraordinary, but follows the basics to a T and makes a simplistic run that is always going to score points, even if it's not always the max amount of points the run is capable of, and just does it right. It's simple. It's clean, there's little room for error, and so I want to take a look at it today just so that we can see, even at the simplistic level, it is very possible to get a good run like this. I just wanted to preface the next few videos that I make with this one to show that simplicity can make a good run. The next few videos that I'm looking at are going to be the more advanced teams from the season, and we're going to look at the more complicated things that they do. But I wanted to show this run first because it's just so simple and I love the way it works. Right off the bat, I love this. I wish I'd see more teams do this. But right off the bat, the create has a metal stick. As soon as the lights go off, they flip the ring stand. The ring stand can go anywhere inside of this box that you want. And so if you can put it right next to your robot does not have to move across the board at all. All it has to do is one servo command and you already have 500 points. That means if nothing else goes right in the run, you still have 500 points. Sometimes that's enough to win the round in itself. And I really, really like that about this run. Continuing to watch this Roomba, it doesn't worry about sorting the palms, even though that's what a lot of teams are doing this year. It knows that sorting the palms is sometimes going to be harder than just dumping them all. And so dumping them all is what this team thought that they were capable of and they thought was wise to do, which is perfectly fine. Sometimes going for less points is the smarter option and makes for a cleaner run that honestly just makes it less stressful, makes it more maintainable, and makes this robot have almost no failure. All it does is move a servo, there's 500 points, and then line follow down the line and turn. You're gonna miss a couple palms on the black line, but that's nothing when you look at how many it's gotten, and really, it's more of like a shotgun where it's going to just scatter and hit those points that it needs to, and if it misses a few, it's perfectly fine. It's a point scoring robot. It's more like insurance in case the big point scoring robot doesn't work. So I love that. The main problem I saw the create have over time is the only time I actually saw the create fail in a video was when the create was disconnected. An easy way to fix that is just run a pre-hands off check. Have your robot drive forward, square up, turn, spin, test all the servos, and then tell you, hey, everything's plugged in, put me in the star box and let me run. Just something that so you can see with your eyes that create is plugged in is super useful. And now all this robot is going to do is it's going to drive until the ridge on the create feels a click, and it's going to turn and it's going to stay there for the rest of the run. They could have done more with this, and it would have been nice to see them do a little bit more. I think this robot could have easily, with this lever, flipped the alarm switch, but also we have no idea how much time this team had to complete. Maybe they only get to work in their workshop or their lab once a week, and only for a couple of hours. So knowing the scope of what you're capable of is very important, and they did that very well. Now onto the demo bot. It's going to be using a lot of line following, and it does a little bit of an adaptation on the line follow that I showed in my tutorial. Instead of line following until the ticks on the wheels reach a certain value, it's going to line follow until the digital sensor reads a certain value, and then it's going to grab that coupler. Using a digital sensor on line follows like that is a super useful way to just keep going until you hit the wall. Because maybe as this bot is going down the line, what if it was to push the robot down this way to where the robot's actually starting here? We would either be over line following, and if we're over here, we're going to be under line following, and we now have no idea where we are, even though we're along this black line. By using a digital sensor to know when to stop that line follow, it doesn't matter if we started all the way back here or here, we're still going to be clicking at the exact same spot and stopping. Now, there are some limitations to this and some things to be wary of. Digital sensors in loops for a for a line follow mean that that robot is going to continue the line follow code until that digital sensor value changes. If that digital sensor gets unplugged, then the rest of your run is done. It will never exit that code until the shutdown takes place after 119 seconds. We don't want that to happen. So my solution is, if we know that this drive is going to take 10 seconds, we update that while loop to say drive until the digital sensor is clicked, or until 15 seconds has passed. This means that if your digital sensor gets unplugged and it's just sitting here ramming against the coupler, it's not going to be a run-ending failure. It's just going to wait until the 15 seconds is up. It's going to turn around and continue to do its thing. Also, if palms get caught up in the robot and it stops just shy of the coupler, it's at least going to have the chance to back up and try to go around or get back off those palms and complete the rest of its tasks. But we see this robot do a couple of turns and grab that coupler. On this robot, one of the failures that I saw was that when they turned too fast and it slung the coupler over to here, so that when they grabbed, there was nothing there. I think the best way to fix this would be to slow down the turn so that it doesn't sling it. I think they fixed this by not just turning as much, which works as well. Slowed down might have worked a little bit better, but as you can see in this, it works. They did what they had to in the moment, and I cannot fault them for that. So, something smart that they do. They could turn this robot around and try to line follow until that digital sensor clicked again, but now they have this coupler in the way. So they can't do that. Well, from this camera angle you can't see, but this robot actually had a line follow sensor on the back and another digital sensor. We'll see it as the robot comes back in a second. So they don't even worry about turning around. They just have another line follow function that lets the robot go backwards. And so they just line follow back down with the coupler as they're dragging it. And you'll see as they get to the end of this, they click and the robot turns around. You'll see as they spin here, they have a couple of back and forths. I think that's the line follow sensor lining up the coupler, somehow localized on the black line. That would be my guess. But now they wait a couple of seconds for those ping pong balls to drop, and they're going to turn around and just dump them right where they need to go. Now we can see those backwards line follows as they line follow back down this way, and they come to get that red cube. And you'll see they line follow until a digital sensor clicks. It's right there, and they grab that red cube. One thing to note about digital sensors is that on the digital sensors I'm talking about are the metal, the ones with the metal lever bar. The metal can be bent on those. So you'll see theirs is actually a shape like this, I believe, if I'm seeing the video right. But you're allowed to bend those bars however you want. If it's not lining up or exactly where you need it, you can bend those bars. That you are allowed to do that. So anyways, we'll see this robot grab the red cube again, and those wheels free spun as it was turning that cube out of here. If they weren't using the line follow here, that would have been the end of their run. They would have tried to back up here, they would have tried to turn 90, it would have made them going this way, and it would have ended up here, and it would have just been a catastrophe. And when they tried to turn, they'd probably end up dropping the red cube off the table. But since they're using a line follow, all their bot does is turn until it hits that line follow, and they're just going to do the same thing over and over again. They're going to go back down, and they're going to click that sensor onto that pipe, just like that. I would have liked to see them drive forward there, just so that they could make sure that red cube was completely in the start box, but that's just more of a sequencing fix. I'm sure they could have easily done that later. But they won this round, and I think they did very, very well in their competition. So this just has some of the fundamentals that I really, really want to stress is what makes a good run. They scored early, they kept things consistent, and they used sensors often, and they went for points that they were capable of getting. That's all I have for this video. Hopefully you got at least a little bit of useful information. Next couple of weeks, like I said, I'm going to be working on those more advanced runs. We're going to take a look at the reasons why they do things and really see what they do, and maybe you can pick up some things that can help make your runs better. Anyways, I hope to see you at competition. Have a good day.